back to the LEC as G2 continues their dominating streak in the LEC by now taking down Astralis. I'm joined by the victorious BrokenBlade. BrokenBlade, congratulations on the victory. How does it feel to win and on Yone top?
It definitely feels good, especially after yesterday where Astralis put a good fight and won against Rogue. So we didn't really underestimate them, right? And I think Sansara's Trundle was very, very dangerous for me this game. And playing Yon is just a very fun champ, and it kind of hit my KD a little bit, but we got some good fights, which I'm very, very happy about. So it's just really nice, I think, playing in this team, because I can just play so many things, and I'm just so free in what I do and what I can do in this team, especially. So.
Yesterday, I had a conversation with FLICKR, who talked about also your tendency to picking the aggressive champion, picking the lane dominant champion. Can you tell me about your own confidence in the carry champions, as well as the rest of G2's ability to enable you to pick those kind of champions?
Well, I think I just love to be creative when it comes to picks, and the thing about it is that I put a lot of work and effort into making these kind of picks work, because I think once you put a lot of work in it and you tell your teammates how exactly it's gonna be played out, then I think all of those picks are, one, harder to play against, and two, they're just good, and I just feel confident in them because I love playing these kind of champs and I'm just very good at them, you know, so.
Yes, you indeed are. And also on the interview yesterday with FLICKR, he did kind of imply Drakos as the current possible leader for G2. Can you also tell me about the top jungle synergy between you and Drakos?
Well, I really like to play with Drakos, actually. I think he's been a very, very good teammate, very professional, and he's very, he takes a lot of responsibility, and I think he does kind of take the position of a leader. I think he's kind of similar to what I had in TSM with Bjergsen. I think he also has that kind of same role. They're different roles, right? But I enjoy playing with Drakos a lot, and I know we meme him a lot, but I think in the end he knows that, and everyone here knows that he's really doing a great job staying professional, even though we have our funny moments.
And I will continue to hope that G2 does perform well and continues to have fun here at the LEC. One final question, BrokenBlade. So with this victory, G2 is for now currently in the second place in the standing, and the final standings will be decided by the next match between Fnatic and Team Vitality. So a question for you is, who do you think is going to win, or who do you want to win?
Actually, I don't really care. I think it would be nice for us right now to be second place, like just us being in the second place, and it's not tied, right? But I think in the end it won't matter, because we just want to be first. And right now Rogue is not doing so well as well. And if you're like, we have one more game against them, so if you beat them, we can still be first, which is what obviously we're looking for, right? And yeah, I mean, I think that's our main goal. I don't really care about other teams much. I just care about my team, really, that we are winning. I don't, because in the end, it will only matter that we are going to take the wins, right? No matter what standing we're at, so.
And we will continue to look forward to it. Thank you so much for the interview, BrokenBlade, and we will take it to the analyst desk for have a deeper look into the match of the week, Vitality versus Fnatic.
Thank you so much, Ashley. BB does not care. He just wants to win. I also like that BrokenBlade in like week 5, he's already saying, hey, it's all jokes. We actually love Drakos. I never heard that out of any of the
actual praise going towards his jungler for once. You know why? It's because they play topside and jungle comes topside. It's like, Drakos, I love you.
Jungle proximity is through the roof. Love it. So let's get into it. Our last match of week 5, the match of the week between Fnatic and Team Vitality. We're going to have Targamas join us, I believe, later for the picks and bans. So now let's dive into kind of the storylines, which we love so much here in the LEC, but I think they're very important and very cool coming into this game.
I mean, EU mids are naturally where your eyes are always going to gravitate anytime we talk about top-level European teams, and there's no exception here in this matchup when we look at it. Humanoid versus Perkz is such a hype matchup, because as long as Perkz was in the LEC, he was lifting trophies. Caps took a few away from him. They teamed up together, but the second Perkz leaves, who starts picking him up in his place, even with Caps still in the league? None other than Humanoid, undisputed #1 mid laner last season, looked like the #1 mid laner coming in at the start of this season as well, and now we can see what Perkz can do to fire back against him.
And both these players were like the hearts, the cores, the souls of their teams, if you think about it, right? Perkz on G2 is iconic. Humanoid, those 2 splits with Mad Lions are iconic. He was with them in Splice when they made the quarterfinals against SKT, I believe it was, when they lost out. So he was such a crucial part of that roster, and without him, they lost a lot of shot calling, they lost a lot of vibes, the best mid in the LEC at the time. And now both of these cores have gone to different teams, and we can see what they bring to them.
And you also hear after these types of players leave a team, you start to hear from how much they actually contributed. Hylissang, who's now saying Humanoid is shot calling so much for Fnatic. Every team, when Caps talking about Perkz, what he contributed to the team and to the team atmosphere and the clutch factor overall. These players are more than just their roles being the mid lane, right? They bring so much more to a team, which is why we rate them so highly. But let's talk about what they've shown then so far on the Rift and who edges out so far, Drakos.
I mean, when I look at it, I feel like Humanoid has been an absolute rock for this team. The fact that Hylissang did say yesterday that he's also the voice for Fnatic, that he's the guy calling the sidelines in the mid to late game, that he's the guy helping make sure that they make the right play, that they play on the right side of the map. That is mind-blowing, because he's also been so incredibly consistent as an individual player too.
He has been getting ganked a little bit, and he's been dying to him a little bit too many times, but he has the best laning stats, I think, of every mid, and that just sums it up right there, right? You can leave him on his own, you can gank his lane, and the interesting thing about both of these matchups is both Perkz, I presume, and Humanoid are the voices for the team in the mid to late game. If they're ahead, they're shot calling everything. Play to my side, play for this tower, basing, all those good stuff around Dragons. And you can see the stats right there for Humanoid. Like, his CS numbers are through the roof. Perkz, of course, struggling in the first few weeks, brings his down a bit, but more recently, he has been on top form.
And I think when we look at how the teams have been doing, also parallel to how the mid laners have been doing, Perkz has not had it as easy. There's been some synergy issues, it looks like, with this Vitality roster in terms of what they could do in the games. Fnatic, however, even though they dropped a game to Excel last week, yesterday they demolished SK Gaming. They had the highest gold lead at 14 minutes this season so far. Now that is a bounce back.
Absolutely. And I think Humanoid coming in clutch on these roams was just a fantastic, fantastic game for him, as well as for Razork, honestly. But still, keeping that focus on Humanoid, I think this is the style that he knows and loves. He is always so active around the map, and it's a huge contrast to Perkz. Don't get me wrong, Perkz is a super active roaming mid laner when he has the champions to do so, but we've seen him put on Oriannas, where his job is to sit, farm, scale, wait for mid to late game shockwaves. Humanoid, nah-uh. Twisted Fates, we've got Rises. This man is making his presence known across the map.
But the thing is, we're going to bring up Euphoria one more time here, because the episode was so fantastic with Perkz. He says he knows he's one of those players of such a high caliber that when you're against him, he knows you're shaking a bit, and he will try his best to get into your head. He's done it at Worlds, waving at Showmaker all the time, and he brings this aura of success around him that not only kind of rallies his teammates, but the enemy team has to be a bit wary that, like, okay, we're ahead, but they have Perkz. They have all these title holders on their teams. They have all these great laners and great team firepower across the board. Take it slow and be careful. I mean, last time, Vitality were the ones 6 or 7k up, and Fnatic were the ones who came back.
Yes, and for Vitality, they've been dwindling a little bit. It would be such a huge win if they are able to take down Fnatic here. And we are only a few minutes away from Picks and Bans, where G2's Targamas will join us at the Analyst desk as both teams are getting ready on stage for our match of the week.
Vitality was embarrassed by Fnatic the last time these two teams met. This was not the super team we were all promised. They want revenge.
Are they gonna get him? No! Wunder! You absolute mad lad! Done someone up, you find a pick, and hey, there it just might be. Labrov locked down. Upset now going to Gale Force forward, trying to finish the kill, but they don't quite have...
the snipe!
Selfmade! Your eye on those potential Viego resets. Wunder waiting for an opportunity to go over the wall. He's knocked Alphari back into the team, but what will it cost him? Taken down. Razork now finding the reset. Carzzy in the retreat with no mana. Fnatic winning the fight for now, but Carzzy has found the resets. He's running out of mana, but it might not matter. Razork, though, coming in, finding the reset. The Viego is clutch. Humanoid is clutch. Fnatic will take the fight.
First week in spring is always deceiving, and Vitality have certainly shown that the star power on this roster is not to be disrespected.
0-3 first week, it sucks, but it's also like, it is what it is, it doesn't really matter, we just learn from it and we improve and we work hard. Funnily enough, despite people's expectations from the outside, I think that this team is the team that we know most open-minded and easy to communicate with each other. You know, only good signs really.
We're now halfway through the spring season, and there shall be no more excuses for dropping games when playoffs are on the line.
We want to do good in regular season, it's important, but really what's important is just making it to playoffs.
I really feel like we haven't reached even 50% of our potential yet. I think most of the games we win through really dominant performances by individuals.
To get the 2v2 kill, I think Fnatic tried to push to get the level up, but XL got it first. Oh my god! What? He's in his head! How did he know he was there?
We have a lot to learn as a team still and really improve our team play.
You can see Vitality playing on 2 lanes here, splitting up. They're going to commit to this play on Selfmade. They're going to deny it. Take it out straight away. There is a TP in the backside. That was massive! Out of nowhere, 3-man blast moonfall. Vitality have the push. Wunder is just now entering the fight. Sjokz buying as much space again as he can. Razork ultimate is falling away. Maybe they can get a kill back, but Wunder is doing so much damage in the back line. Here comes Humanoid with the ultimate, and Fnatic are going to take the fight.
Both of these teams were heralded as Europe's next big super team. Let's see who will live up to that moniker.
Vitality might have a lot of players that require attention, and if every lane is calling the jungler on every single wave, then that's not gonna end well.
I respect the players a lot, I know their history, and I'm really expecting that when it comes down to it, the individual players will step up even more and they'll be a strong team. But they're going to be better.
Well there, fantastic match of the week video. We've seen it a couple of times now, but now it is time to dive into the picks and bans. Perkz versus Humanoid, Vitality versus Fnatic, and a special guest down here in the desk is Targamas. Hello, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We'll be getting into the picks and bans with you, but I'd love to know first off, since you are a bot laner as well, what do you make of these two teams' bot lanes and their priorities when it comes to picking for their bot lanes in the drafts?
Well, I think both Vitality and Fnatic have really strong bot lane, obviously. Especially the Fnatic bot lane, they are really good at playing around the upsets. I think jungler is always passing towards bot, always looking to dive upset lane to get him hides. So I think champions like Jinx and Aphelios will be very important for the drafts. Like, I can already see the matchup being just Jinx Aphelios, and then the AD that's ahead is probably gonna win the game.
Yeah.
And what do you think of patch 12.3 coming in? This is the first weekend we see patch 12.3, and we haven't actually asked any of the pros specifically, how's the patch unfolding? Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? Does it shake up pro play a lot?
I don't think it changed much. I think the biggest change might just be TF, but then it just got banned every game. I don't really know what to think about him just yet. Like, he got played like maybe once or 0 time this weekend. I don't know exactly. But apart from that, I don't think it changed much. I think we're the only team playing Sienna in Europe, and she got nerfed. So now it's just back to Jinx Aphelios matchup every game, I think.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like for the bot lane, especially for the AD carries, that it's kind of limited. But you, at least for the support role, you keep pulling out new champions. So do you as a support feel kind of free in this meta?
I mean, I think most people just go for the usual, the Rakan, Thresh, but I don't know, I just like playing different champs, and since I'm getting given the counter pick a lot of games, I have the freedom to just choose whatever I want, basically.
Absolutely. We'll see if that's the case for Hylissang or Labrov, rather. I don't think so in these constellations. Caedrel, take us away.
Yeah, no, just straight into picks and bans. Both teams on stage, of course. Such historic matchup, I think, just between the players themselves, right? You've got Perkz versus Wunder, which is an old school classic, of course, now, as they were teammates for so long. And Targamas, red side, it feels like Zeri is a must ban. Are there any other must bans that kind of have to happen on red side? Because obviously blue side can target ban more.
Well, I think the champions like TF, of course, really strong. I think Jace is very strong pick, but the Ryze got banned. Often you want to pair the Jace with something that can move a lot on mid. So either Ryze or TF. For now, TF is still open, so we could see just the Jace TF combination or something like that. Thresh also really important, I think, for both teams. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thresh first pick if it's not banned.
Yeah, Hylissang, Labrov, you think of Thresh, you think of Rakan. Gwen is also kind of banned sometimes on blue and red side. I think some of the teams, especially Vitality, are very happy to just flex Gwen to jungle on red side. So we'll see if Fnatic want to target that, because that flex could be dangerous later on in the draft.
Is it for TF the same thing like for Corki? Like, even though they got hit on the patch, it's still not a reason to not pick them? Do they still have a place in the draft, Caedrel?
It's a hard one, because I'd actually like to pick Target Master Spring on this, because I feel like, from my perspective, when these champions get nerfed, they're still picked for the first couple weeks of the patch or the first week of the patch until teams realize, actually, they're too bad now, let's just drop them completely. Do you have that kind of same sentiment?
Yeah, I think people are just really used to play TF. Also, I feel like the champions on top are really strong with it. Well, it's lucky nice. I'm a bit surprised because Jace is banned this game, so we have to see like what they go for on top. Like when you play TF, usually you want something to be able to dive top, but then again it's Fnatic, so probably they would just want to dive bot instead.
We did hear rumblings, I'm just going to say it, of the Mickey X special in terms of the TF support, which would be an insane flex. I don't think it's going to happen. I just wanted to have it said.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once he teased it with us, we can't get it away from us. You know, we want to see it at least once, but I think Target Master is completely right. Will they pick some kind of carry top for Wunder? The only real carries we've been seeing out of him is things like the Akali, but as he said previously, Aphelios picked up. Would you expect Upset to go for a Jinx here? Would that make the most sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Just pick the Jinx.
Zeri.
All the Zeri actually just went through. It's a bit different because I think lane is a bit rough for Zeri, especially if Vitality decides to go for something like Thresh. So we have to see, because then TF might just be used not to dive, but maybe to protect and to fight more on bot. I'm not sure.
And how important is the range support with Zeri? A lot of the times when we see people play it in solo queue, it's literally Zeri, Yuumi, Zeri, Lulu. Is that a must, or is she fine with melee supports and engage supports as well?
I think she's definitely way stronger with the enchanters, but it might be hard to pick sometimes, especially against Aphelios Thresh. Sometimes you might just be very scared to pick something like Lulu or Yuumi. If you just get dove over and over again, then you're basically very useless.
Yeah.
So also I think with TF, usually TF Viego, you want probably something that sets up the fight, so Viego can get the resets and things like that.
Okay, so Thresh
I think
picked
both are very good options.
Yeah, Thresh picked up as you expected. If you're Thresh here, what kind of bans are you looking at? Do you want to target support bans or maybe target top lane for the TF as Akali gets taken away?
Well, I think they're gonna keep the flex for Gwen until last pick, so maybe they just ban the Akali because it's a really good matchup to Gwen top, and probably I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Yuumi ban or something like that, but it's very hard to predict because, as you said, there's a lot of stuff you can play with Zeri, and also it's a new champ, so I don't think people know exactly what's the best combination with Zeri yet, so I think it's hard to pinpoint just one ban.
Yeah, definitely. So Fnatic looking for their top and support. We expect Zeri flex towards top. I wouldn't expect it, although there has been rumblings of people playing it in solo queue. Of course, Vitality with the Gwen flex want to pick up their mid laner and match it into TF. Maybe that Irelia ban is targeted Perkz as well, because Irelia into TF would be a volatile matchup. Gwen can go jungle to facilitate the AP. And just as Target Master was saying, engage is what Fnatic needs, and Rakan already taken away, of course.
Yeah, and I think versus Hylissang, that's kind of a no-brainer. Would you rather not have him on Rakan? Indeed, so we'll see what they are going for as we get the next pick for Team Vitality.
So mid lane for Perkz could default to a very safe pick like Victor. Ryze is taken away, of course, which is a normal match into the TF. We also saw Sylas into TF a couple of times. Do you think Mage here is just the best for Vitality, Target Master, or do you think that maybe some kind of AD mid?
Yeah, I feel like when you play Aphelios, you really want something, like Orianna or Victor to be backline with your Aphelios and just basically protect him. Like if you go for something more offensive, then he might just
Isn't Pyke one of your favorite champions?
It is, yeah. I mean, against Aphelios Thresh, it can go very well if you hit your hooks, and usually Hylissang is really on point in lane, but you can also get outscared really fast and just one shot, so it's a currently
Oh, it's a Hylissang pick.
But do you think the Pyke pairs well with the TF? So you've got the Graves top side, which I guess you can play for because, I mean, Graves will have the push, but you can also leave him on island. Pyke TF sounds to me like they want to run around the map and find picks as Jax gets locked in for Vitality.
Yeah, I think Pyke is a really strong champ with TF. As I said, with TF you want something to set up your plays and to be able to follow up on the stun. Pyke is exactly what you need. Like TF just lands his gold card, you get to hook, you get to stun, ult, it's a one-shot, and you get to reset with Viego as well. So it's, I mean, I really like playing Pyke with Viego. It's kind of the reset brothers that I use a lot in K-Corp. So yeah, it's a really fun combination.
It's awesome. And it also screams Fnatic to me, I gotta say, in terms of how they've been playing with their early action, the gold card, the Pyke, then the Zeri just demolishing everyone. It could definitely work, but it could also backfire.
It could.
What is there to look out for when it comes to the team vitality composition?
As Targamas just said, it can get outscaled quite quickly, right? You have these single target damage, TF, Pyke, Graves. If the Jax is ahead, it's very hard for their composition to actually deal with it. So I think Vitality have this comp where Jax will farm up, you have a really good wave clear team fight on the rest of the 4, but Fnatic definitely need to be proactive with this draft.
Targamas, after the draft and what you know about both teams, who would you give the win to?
I would give to Vitality. I think Fnatic has to do a lot to be able to win this game, but I definitely trust Hylissang in with his Pyke. Like, he can definitely create some magic, and they can just win the game at 20 minutes, but if they don't, it might be very rough.
Hylissang creating magic.
We'll see, yeah, indeed. Thank you so much, Targamas, for that insight. It's time to get into our match of the week, Fnatic versus Vitality.
Let's get into it. Final game of week 5 here in the LEC. We're well and truly over the halfway mark for all of these teams. Fnatic fighting for second place right now. Vitality fighting for a position in playoffs. Coming through the draft, we have a few spicy picks here, Vedius. Hylissang on his Pyke. All time, he's played that, I think, 29 times professionally. 65% win rate on it. We have Alphari on his Jax. A very strong split pusher into this Graves. And the question is, hello everyone. The question is, which composition are you looking at to come out on top?
Well, I kind of agree with the desk. I think that Vitality, I think they have the better draft. I think that they have a really good matchup in mid. I think that they have a really good matchup in bot. I think they have an outscaling jungler. I think that their comp outscales. Yeah, I think a lot of the onus is going to be on Fnatic in the early game to make stuff happen. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Hylissang and where he is on the map and what type of plays he's going to be looking for. Let's see if Fnatic can make any magic happen in the early game. Selfmade is going to start solo up towards the top side. Razork is going to do the same thing on bot. Now, let's quickly, thank you observers, go straight towards the bot lane and have a look at what Hylissang and Upset is up to.
So, of course, the Bone Skewer does not go through minions. Hylissang waiting for the minions to pass by, and now will step forward. Makes a lot of damage. Bone Skewer channeled away, but Labrov already down to about 200 HP. Hylissang looking for the damage here. Can't quite get it. Ignite ticking. Summoner burnt on the side of Fnatic. Hylissang now will use the bush and his passive to regenerate that healthy loss. Charging the Bone Skewer, and once again it connects. 2 out of 2 so far for Hilly.
Wait, that was a crazy amount of damage that came out from the Fnatic bot lane. Like, I'm having a quick look back to see if it was just the Hail of Blades. It really was. It was Hail of Blades, man. Like, so it looked like his hook got interrupted by the Flay. Yeah. And I thought, oh no, this is really bad for Fnatic's bot lane. And then Hylissang just went stab, stab, stab. And then immediately Labrov was like, okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm going to back off of this. It did cost Upset his Ignite, but we heard from Targamas saying that in order for Pyke to do well in this lane, you need to land your hooks. And Hylissang was saying, well, as long as I'm in melee range, you know, that'll do the job. But it immediately gives Fnatic's bot lane control over the 2 versus 2, which I think was really important. So very well played from the early laning phase Fnatic.
Hilly going in. Doesn't use the Bone Skewer. They actually did use it. Maybe was looking for the slow off it, just the short proc instead of the long charge time. I will say as well, Labrov running Glacial Augment on the Thresh definitely cost him in that initial trade. If you were running Guardian or even the Aftershock, would have been a lot more tanky as Hylissang looks for the flash hook. Holy, we just can't take our eyes off the bottom lane. Flash burned there from Carzzy. Summoner for Summoner, but Hylissang will be very happy with that. As much as we say Fnatic want the early lead, how? What, Hilly? Excuse me, sir?
Okay. League officials need to check if Hilly is cheating.
I mean,
because
that's good play, but that's just not normal. It's just not normal from Hylissang as he's now hooked. Doesn't take damage, though, because he hasn't tanked up the tower yet. Gets away. Ignite is ticking, but he will escape to hook another day. Hylissang,
oh my words,
backs away in the bottom lane, and Fnatic have a lead early on that bottom side of the map. Razork looking for a gank perhaps here, or maybe just helping Humanoid push out this lane. Of course, Twisted Fate slightly nerfed, or quite heavily nerfed if you look at solo queue statistics, on 12.3. He lost a lot of the attack speed off his E, which was one of his key wave clearing tools in the early game.
Yeah, it's also one of the big things that help you trade in lane as well. So typically, Twisted Fate, so the laning phase pattern especially should be a lot weaker. But Humanoid so far doing pretty well in the matchup. Got a good base off. Not going to be forced to use his TP, whereas Perkz will look to expend that summon spell. Just want to go back to Hylissang really quickly. He used his flash to trade it for Carzzy's flash, which again, like, sets up for these future plays.
But this is smart as well.
We heard Targamas talking a lot about how Fnatic do like to attack bot lane, but they also love to attack this mid lane. And with the flash stun card available, oh, but the minion wave just getting in the way there of Hylissang. He's going to secure that cannon minion.
That's what you do. As a support, if you roam, there's a cannon there. It's like, that's mine. Here we are. And then you can go bot lane, get the next cannon minion.
It's just so smart. The Professor. Well, used his W, right, to go over it?
That's part of the power of Pyke, is your ability to do that. Razork as well sneaking by the little vision given by that Scuttle Crab, but no gank really going to happen for the Fnatic bot lane.
But this is exactly what needs to happen, right? When you asked me which comp do I prefer, I very much talked about how I preferred Vitality's because I just think that overall it's easy to play, and Fnatic need to be aggressive in the early game, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Perkz has no TP, but who's going to come down? Look at the stun onto Carzzy, tries to get the heal off, but he's dead where he stands. Humanoid takes the tower perfectly, and Fnatic walk away with a kill.
Absolutely flawless dive from Fnatic. Humanoid even takes the tower aggro, so even though Hylissang gets locked up, he's still able to walk away with his life. Just yesterday, all we talked about Medic was that we saw pristine performance from Fnatic. They clearly identified how they wanted to win, and they were able to execute upon it cleanly. In this game, we talked about how they have these very narrow win conditions with which they need to make something happen, in particular around the bot lane. And let's just look back at this. There is a window where they go mid, help Humanoid get the push. He then roams bot, they stun onto Carzzy, they know he doesn't have flash. The stun card into the root, into the damage. Humanoid's able to walk away from the attack. That is clean. That is a very well-executed tower dive. And all of it set up by Hylissang.
Yep.
Burning the flashes, the ignites, the trades. It's like that's why they call him the Professor. He saw it like 5 minutes ago.
Really good stuff by the Fnatic support, and once again putting his name in the ring, I think, at least for me, in terms of MVPs so far of spring season.
I mean, without a doubt,
his name's definitely there.
Best support the split, I feel like he definitely has to be in that conversation so far.
Definitely agree with you there. It will be interesting to see how Fnatic are able to continue to develop this lead. Hilly here, flash away the stun card, the hook still connects. Perkz pulled back, but is able to escape to the safety of his tower. Once again, though, Perkz has no flash. That makes him so susceptible to ganks in this mid lane. Razork's not going to be able to dive in with a Heartbreaker because he's not yet hit that level 6, but now Humanoid has free time on the tower, and Hylissang into the waiting arms of Labrov and Selfmade. Good counterplay here by Vitality.
It certainly is. Finally, Vitality get to stop Hylissang from causing chaos on the map. They catch him in the rotation. They're able to find a pick, and this will be the first Dragon of the game going into the back pocket of Vitality. Of course, the gold is still even. It was a well-executed dive towards the bot lane, but Carzzy's still doing pretty well in CS. He's not too dramatically behind, and Vitality should be still feeling okay knowing that Fnatic need to keep making these plays if they want to stay ahead.
And especially with the knowledge that last time they met, Fnatic were not able to get any leads in the early game. In fact, it was Vitality who got out to a massive early game advantage, spending almost half the game in a major lead. That means 51.5% or more of the total gold in the game was in their pockets. But you have to remember, Vedi, Fnatic won that game. Vitality didn't pick up the win, even though they were so massively ahead earlier.
But I remember that overextension. It was right around the Baron. A fight kicked off. Vitality got an initial pick, and then they overextended in the enemy jungle. Fnatic was able to answer, and then the Baron went down, and then Fnatic was able to turn the game around. And it was very much that week one Vitality, the miscoordination, the communication looking poor. And I do feel like in that week, we were kind of robbed from Vitality versus Fnatic because it wasn't as clean. But I already feel like in this game, we're getting to see some really high-quality League of Legends. So let's see how things progress. We are, of course, at the point where Herald is now on the map. You can see both junglers hovering around it as both laners fight for priority. Alphari will be able to move first, but it's Razork that actually kicks this one off. And keep your eyes on the Professor. Hylissang is already making his way up towards the river as Humanoid. Ooh, the shockwave doesn't land from Perkz.
Just short there by Perkz. Humanoid holding his flash as well. Good trigger discipline there as Alphari tries to work his way down towards this Rift Tower, but you have to feel a numbers advantage currently for Fnatic in the river means that Razork will secure it.
And a really important objective picked up for Fnatic. We talk a lot about how the Heralds can be used to help accelerate the early game, and with Fnatic's comp, it is a necessity. Flash on Labrov.
Flay gets the slow. Humanoid's going to try and flash away, dodges away from the hook. Gold card locked in. He's going to land the stun, but Perkz is still on the chase. One more ball, one more snip as Selfmade secures his second of the game. Vitality playing very well at securing the fact that Perkz needed some safety because he didn't have flash, but then still finding a pick of their own.
It's one of the things that, yes, Hylissang is going to roam a lot, and now he's looking for Carzzy.
There's the slow flash stun, but the lantern's there. Carzzy actually might just turn this one around. The Moonlight Vigil's going to do so much work, and Upset only has a sheen. And Hylissang has no hope of surviving that. Labrov puts up the box. Upset slowed, flashes forward for the final shots, and does find his man.
Wow, it ends up being a 1-for-1, a bit of an overcommitment from both supports there. A flash engage from Hylissang. Didn't have the level 6, not sure if his Ignite was up or not, but still has it for the time being. But wow, I love that Carzzy basically just looked him dead in the eye and said, not this time. I have the guns that I need to kill you, and you've just invested everything. So let's have a look back at Carzzy. He's running white-green. Hylissang flashes in, and Carzzy's just going to say, you know what? I don't care. I have the ult. I can quickly stack up my chakrams. You're in melee range.
Part of the weakness as well of Zeri is if you're trying to auto-attack, there can't be minions in front of you. You can't auto-attack through the minions. You saw Upset struggling to get past the minion line, couldn't get those auto-attacks in, or at least his Q spam, which is basically his auto-attack on Zeri. It makes it very hard for him to put damage down if he's fighting in the midst of those little critters. For the moment, even-ish game between these two teams. Fnatic do still have that Rift Hold in their back pockets, and leads across the mid lane and bottom lane relatively in Fnatic's favor right now. Humanoid with the Destiny could look for a roam.
Just having a quick look at the gold. Upset will, with obviously a 2-kill advantage in this situation, but he has completed his Trinity Force already, which is a very early Mythic item to grab for yourself this early on into the game compared to the boots of Carzzy. Of course, Zeri kind of scales a little bit better as the game progresses. Ooh, Hylissang looking for another hook.
Goes wide, and then just dodges back. More of a nuisance.
Yeah, super nuisance, that's for sure. But the fact that the gold is dead even, Vitality's pretty happy with that. You can see that Jax is slowly getting more and more comfortable in the top lane matchup, went for early armor boots, did find himself at a deficit early on, but is very quickly closing that CS gap, and as the game progresses, he will only continue to get stronger. The Nash's Tooth also completed for Selfmade. The Ghost is going to be coming up soon. I think, yeah, Vitality see this play coming. Gwen also making her way down. Alphari has the TP.
Funnel the gold into Upset. Won't be able to clear the entire tower here as the Rift Tower gets a charge in. Upset gets 160 extra gold out of that, and he's already now 1,000 gold ahead on this Zeri. She can take over games. We've seen Danny do it in the LCS, picking up a pentakill. Was going the crit build, but this Trinity Force Titanic Hydra build can be equally as strong as Hylissang once again a thorn in the side of Vitality. And Betty, we'd prepped a lot of talking points coming into this game. We wanted to talk about Alphari and Wunder in the top lane. Yep, they're hitting each other every now and again and farming minions. Mid lane's been more action, but most of it has been Hylissang and Labrov trying to make plays. It hasn't actually been Humanoid and Perkz making the plays themselves. So I think those narratives can sit by the wayside for the moment as we continue to focus on what Hylissang and Labrov are trying to do in this game.
Yeah, Labrov is doing a great job of trying to keep up with Hylissang. The ultimate just misses there from Carzzy. He did have the purple gun. He was ready to get that route down for a potential pick, but doesn't end up resulting in anything. Perkz now gonna catch this mid wave as Fnatic will start off the second Drake. Vitality don't have to contest this if they don't want to. Wunder pushing in that top wave, has the TP up in just now, but it looks like for now, Vitality, they're not gonna run the risk. They know how strong Upset is at this point in time. They're not gonna run the risk, especially with that Eclipse finished for Wunder as well. Ooh, so, major objective going in the favor of Fnatic. The next Rift Herald will be spawning soon. But again, I want to highlight the fact that the gold is pretty much even. And Hilly, once again, looks in mid lane. Perkz knows it. He's been seeing a lot of harassment from Hylissang this game. But again, Vitality have the scaling. And that's the thing you have to keep remembering. We talked about how Vitality, well, Fnatic rather, need to find these early leads. And while we did see a lot of great proactivity from them, Hylissang really setting up a lot of great plays. The dive towards bot lane was very good. There's still this element of the longer this game goes at an even state, Vitality, they're chilling. They're quite content with the way the game is right now.
Something we haven't quite seen yet is Humanoid with that Destiny as the stun lands onto Wunder. Smite comes down as well and the chase is on. Wunder has to flash to escape smokescreen, doing quite a lot of work to stop Selfmade and Alphari being able to chase that one down.
The blue Smite really contributing there as well, slowing Wunder down, being able to land that chase. Razork now coming in from behind, has the Pyke and the Twisted Fate not that far behind.
Death from below could do quite a lot of work here. Flash, Spectral Maw, Destiny, and here it comes. Twisted Fate looking for the kill. Death from below will still not quite connect at the end there. Wunder even TPing in to make sure they secure that. It's a big kill as Selfmade falls for the first time in the game, and Alphari is forced away from his tower, knowing the top side of the map no longer belongs to him. Hylissang had a reset on that ult, that's why he expended it there. Wasn't expecting to do much damage to Alphari, but maybe just continuing to hassle the Vitality top laner.
Really good punish there from Razork overall. He knew exactly where Selfmade was, the path that he could take to set up for that flank, and the fact that Humanoid and Hylissang were right behind him, guaranteeing a numbers advantage and allowing themselves to get that pick and convert it into a Herald. Ideally, they want to use this to break open the mid lane tower, but they may very well use it on sides to open up the map a little bit more, so they can then look to leverage this Twisted Fate a little bit more and trying to find picks and punishes on the side of Vitality.
And top lane tower already going to go down here for Fnatic. Carzzy will answer in the bottom lane. The Crescendum, that white gun, gives you chakrams. The closer you stand to a target, the quicker you get them out, the more damage you can do. And that's why Aphelios with that gun can do incredible work at taking down these turrets. However, that sequence of events, Vedi, has given Fnatic quite a sizable lead here. 2,000 gold ahead at the 15-minute mark. Labrov looking for the hook. Control ward with spotting Hylissang, but the hook goes wide as Hylissang's able just to dodge away from it. Shockwave. There is the Lantern combination, and Humanoid is just brought back into the jaws of death as Vitality find another.
A big pick once again onto Humanoids. He did find some early roams, but outside of that and the one TF ult that we saw up top, he hasn't been unlocked on the map a lot, but now Perkz wants his revenge. He brings his support and jungle into the mid lane. They find a pick, but now Fnatic has caught Labrov.
Look at the chase coming down from Upset. The problem is Selfmade's here. Razork's on his way, though. Wunder also in the vicinity. Carzzy doing some damage. Moonlight Vigil only hits onto Hylissang. Here comes Razork. Upset's going to dive across the wall. Selfmade in the midst of the fight. He's immune for the moment, but he's not immune to death. Carzzy trades 1-for-1 down towards the bottom side. Upset, though, now on a killing spree as Perkz is forced underneath the tower. And Upset will chase him down, but the tower's in the way. And Upset, not today, says Perkz. Shut down. And Upset pays the price for his overconfidence.
Ends up being a 3-for-2 in favor of Fnatic, though. They find themselves a very good skirmish, and they come out on top of these trades. Wow. We got to see some of the limitations of Zeri there, because you'll notice, look, the turret from Carzzy gets thrown down, and it's used to block Labrov from actually taking any damage from Zeri as well. Then the fight kicks off. Razork just dives straight in onto Selfmade, with Wunder there offering support. Carzzy's doing what he can to fight 2v1 on the backline. He does have his flash, decides not to expend it. Meanwhile, on the backline, the dive comes down onto Perkz, and then look at this from the tower.
Just left-click him. Just right-click him. Just right-click him. Oh, he did right at the end. He did. He lost it right at the end, so maybe just not quite enough damage. Will give Upset the benefit of the doubt that he managed to get his right click out, but not quite enough DPS from that small basic attack that Zeri does have.
Razork, though, continues to get stronger. 2-0-2 on this Viego. Every time he has found Selfmade, he has just one-shot him. And now it is Alphari in danger.
And that's what we wanted to see from Fnatic. Moving into the side lane, Counter-Strike coming out. Perkz joins the Barney. Shockwave hits two. Wunder able to dodge away from him, but Selfmade's here as well, and Labrov's on the way, and Selfmade so strong with the Nash's Tooth. Alphari dives back, dodges the collateral damage, but Razork gets a killing spree, and that's one reset. And what Viego can do with a reset, he can do for two. Lantern comes out, but Upset's on the chase, and Vitality thought they had collapsed, but it's Fnatic doing the collapsing as Hylissang brings death from below and secures himself his first kill of the game.
That is 4 kills in exchange for none. what a crazy exchange, and so much of the credit needs to go to Razork there, getting that kill onto Perkz. I don't think anyone was expecting that damage to come out, but by getting that, he quickly swung the fight in Fnatic's favor. Wow, Fnatic, they needed to be able to find this early lead. They needed to be able to play for these skirmishes, look for these picks, and they're doing a brilliant job of it. Every time Vitality is ever so slightly overextended, Fnatic look to punish. And now Fnatic find themselves the 5k gold lead. But let's have a look back at this play. Alphari sitting in the side lane, gets collapsed on. He's buying time. Notice he's holding onto his E for as long as possible so the Humanoid can't stun him. Perkz then TPs in and Selfmade arrives. At this point, you think, oh, actually, this is very winnable for Vitality. That exhaust was massive, so was the stopwatch. Alphari goes back in, flashes out, but keep your eyes on Perkz' health bar here. Humanoid ults just insta-kills him. He was not expecting that damage whatsoever. And the moment this turns into a 3 versus 1 with Alphari out of the fight, then it becomes easy for Fnatic to clean things up. 4 people die. Hylissang rounds things out with a 9-9-9-9. And that means that now they find themselves with a 6k gold lead. Oh no, look, Razork's found Selfmade again.
It's a 1v1 in the jungle. The Heartbreaker takes out Selfmade. Razork then gets the reset. Now Alphari has to run for the safety of his tower, but Razork, perhaps doubted at times during this season, especially early on. People were wondering if he could have the impact on Fnatic that we've seen Fnatic junglers have in the past. The last couple of games, he has really been stepping up. Yesterday, more utility. Today, more of a carry. 4-0 for his current score.
But look at the rate at which Fnatic are accelerating this game. It is impressive to see. Off a single team fight, they just continue to look for picks, look to aggress, and look at the map right now. They have top lane pushed in, they have bot lane pushed in, they have mid lane pushed in, and this means that all of this jungle belongs to Fnatic. They have complete control over the map, and Vitality is desperately trying to get something back.
So Wunder has flash, he has the smoke screen as well, and because of that, Perkz will immediately retreat. Doesn't want any piece of that action. 7,000 gold now the lead for Fnatic. At 15 minutes, it was 2,000. At 18 minutes, it was 5,000. And now at 20 minutes, it is a 7k lead. And as much as Vitality scale, it's pretty difficult to scale when you're dead, as they have been for the majority of this game.
Fnatic have just turned it on. It was Hylissang in the early game, but it was Razork as we transition from the early into the mid. You already highlighted it earlier, Medic, and I just want to reinforce that once again. He has had a fantastic game, and he has really shut Selfmade down, punished him at every opportunity that he has seen. Going for the much higher damage build. No more Sterak second. We like that.
Yep.
We're hoping that he doesn't build it third, because I think that without much extra HP, it's not that great. But here we are, 1v1ing the Jax.
Here's the thing. Alphari's done no damage to Razork, so why would he need the HP anyway? He just kills him. Back to full HP as he possesses that Jax. A lot weaker than he is right now, but Fnatic are looking anything but weak so far in this game. Hylissang clearing out a couple of wards here. Has gone the Umbral Glaive, so can 2-hit a control ward, can single hit a normal ward. And this is something that's so good about Pyke is, firstly, you have a huge amount of mobility. You've got your Ghost Water dive and your Phantom Undertow to jump across walls. You can be invisible, but also that mobility allows you to get into places and clear out vision that usually you wouldn't be able to on a support. With the Umbral Glaive, he can just deny any awareness that Vitality have, even of their own jungle, never mind the river.
Certainly can. Speaking of a denial of vision, again, the map continues to belong to Fnatic. They keep every single wave pushed. There is this one little flank ward, but Vitality, they just want to slow the game down rapidly, but Fnatic are not going to let them. Look at this immaculate control they have around the Baron right now. That is just littered with control wards. They have vision absolutely everywhere. They're doing their best to keep top push. They're keeping mid push. Humanoid's going to reset, spend some of that gold. I will argue that the problem Fnatic has, they don't have a true tank for Baron. So if they do start it off, they have to make sure that they're confident that they're going to get it. And look at Razork once again. He's found a sneaky flank. Upset side steps that one.
Bone Skewer sidestepped as well there by Vitality. The vision comes down. Wunder now joining the fray as Alphari looks towards the top lane. He needs to get that second, third item on this Jax. Does scale incredibly well. This Vitality draft does have a lot of power if they can get towards 3 or 4 items apiece. But right now, Fnatic are not giving them a moment to breathe. Razork goes in, Selfmade there off the side. Look at the damage! Perkz is just dead, we couldn't even see him go down. However, Selfmade is able to answer with a shutdown. Upset diving forward, no CC available for Vitality right now. Upset's just doing so much work. Labrov looking for the blast cone, Carzzy has to dodge away, but Wunder steps in, says, "You're mine," takes the kill. Alphari dies onto Humanoid. Labrov trying to get away, but you just can't escape Upset. 1-for-1 trade once again, 2 for 2 so far. Actually, it's a 3 for 2 so far in favor of Fnatic. Vitality able to hold on, but they lost their mid-tier 2. They lost 3 kills, and they're probably going to lose this Cloud Drake as well.
Selfmade is doing what he can to pick up kills in answer to Fnatic's aggression, but Upset, he just feels unleashed at this point in the game. You know, 2 items are finished, but his mobility is just insane. And Razork, yes, he does get collapsed on here. He sees the ward, but he feels, you know what, I think I can actually go for this fight here. Of course, he is at a slight numbers disadvantage. Carzzy then comes in from over the wall. A good hook does land. And then this is where the fight really kicks off. Remember that Orianna has already just died in the mid lane. And look at Upset here, just slowly utilizing his range. There's nothing that Vitality can do. They're slowly getting chipped away. And then Wunder flashes in, secures that initial kill. And then Upset says, hang on, I gotta go get this kill. Kind of leaves Wunder out to dry here. But he ends up getting cut down by Selfmade and Alphari, as it ends up being a 3 for 2.
Part of the issue as well for Vitality is all of their gold really is concentrated on Selfmade. You know, he got that shutdown, he's got 5 of their 8 kills, and yes, Riftmaker Nash's Tooth is a very strong Gwen build, but so far, as you said earlier, Razork has been very potent at shutting down the threat that Selfmade provides. Alongside that, Hylissang continues to deny vision. It becomes harder and harder for Vitality to control their own jungle. 9,000 gold now, their deficit. Razork going in, Wunder takes a chunk, Hylissang looking for the hook. Razork able to dodge to the side there of a hook of his own, and Fnatic, relentless Predator stepping in.
Both of them
invisible.
Just slightly out of range of the control ward. Oh man, such an obnoxious comp to deal with when you are at this kind of a deficit. 3 items now done for Upset. He is definitely online at this point in time. Level 14 on the AD carry as well. Fnatic looks terrifying. And here comes the ult.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go? You got nowhere to go. You got nowhere to be apart from back in the fountain. A dinner date with death, it seems, there for Carzzy. Humanoid's going to chase in with a stun card here. Rapid fire cannon will mean it meets its mark. That's the word I was looking for. As Razork is able to force Vitality back once again, and Fnatic themselves turn to the Baron. Vitality, do you fight or do you flee? Right now, it looks more like the fear response from that adrenaline coursing through their veins, and Fnatic, although squishy on this, it's got to be a shockwave. Perkz is down to 1,000. He looks for the shockwave, but he just doesn't have the damage. Leandri's Seraph's not enough to secure the Baron for him. Instead, Fnatic take it, and with it, a 11,000 gold lead here, Vedi.
This has been such an impressive weekend for Fnatic in terms of their execution, and you know, this pick was very straightforward. They use the ult, they catch Carzzy slightly out of position. He doesn't have any summoners, and he ends up dropping. But the Fnatic had to find these early leads. They had to find these early skirmishes, and like when we compare their game yesterday in terms of their early game execution, in terms of what we saw from them in the early game, into today's composition, the fact that Upset was able to find these leads, even though Hylissang was getting picked every now and then, Upset was able to trade it back. Like, Fnatic just seemed to be functioning as a well-oiled machine right now, and I know that many expected this to take a little bit more time, but when we heard Yamato at the beginning of the split, all he cared about was progression. He didn't really care if the team was losing or winning, he just wanted the team to be good. And by damn, are they pretty good.
I mean, off this week's performance and off the rest of spring, I think you have to say, looking like the best team in the LEC right now, with Rogue faltering.
Sets us up beautifully for the G2 Fnatic rematch coming in just a few weeks.
G2 won that one the last time, but Fnatic looking on mighty fine form right now. 12,000 gold their lead. Baron still for 1:40, and you can see, when you're playing Pyke, this is what you can do. Go in a side lane, bring in the wave by yourself. You have enough escape tools to get away, and Vitality really don't have many engage tools anyway, so you shouldn't have to dodge too far. Perkz caught out once again. The damage is disgusting from Razork. He claims his 6th. He forces Vitality back into their base underneath their Nexus towers. Alphari will get a bounty, but what's 250 gold to the massive lead that Fnatic have? They're actually just looking for the Nexus towers here, Vitality. 4 players to defend against the oncoming storm that is Fnatic. First Nexus tower falls. They turn their eyes back to the inhibitor. And Fnatic, against Vitality, just close it out. Razork diving in. Alphari trying to do what he can. Razork will fall, but Upset, untouched, undismayed by his teammates' death, continues to step forth and continues to shred Vitality apart. Fnatic with a dominating win.
Just another day in the office, it seems, for Fnatic. What a brilliant performance from them from start to finish. Hylissang in the early game, Razork in the mid game, And then Upset to close things out. Just a very well played game. And Wunder, like kind of the silent hero in all of this, his positioning on the map was flawless. Always in the right place at the right time. Doing very well in the isolated 1v1. Yamato can be very happy with the team's performance this weekend. I think many fans can be excited because if this is the level that Fnatic is bringing week to week, then like this is looking like a very strong contender. Fnatic dismantling Vitality, and Vitality found themselves on 0-2 week.
Yep. It's kind of sitting at 5 and 6, tied with Mad Lions in 6th place behind XL. Misfits, Fnatic and G2 tied in 2nd right now.
The pressure's mounting.
First, yeah.
The pressure is mounting for Vitality. Of course, Fnatic is a very strong opponent, but the fact that they did drop that game to XL yesterday, you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, they say they want to brush off the week 1. They want to say that, like, they weren't in top form, and, like, obviously you want to acknowledge that, but they're losing the same teams that they lost to in that first week, you know? And, you know, we're week 5 now.
Yep.
And I just feel like that they're
And since week 1, they've gone 5 and 3, which is an okay score.
Of course.
But it's not great. You know, 5 and 3 is middle of the pack. And that's exactly where they sit right now. Your key player of the game votes at LEC on Twitter. Wunder, Razork, and Upset. I have no qualms at all in saying you should entirely vote for Razork. He had an incredible game.
Yeah, he did.
The early game was a lot off his back, his positioning on the map. And yes, Upset and Wunder, very, very well played. You know, Upset popped off on Zeri, great job. Wunder, as you say, silent hero, but Razork really took it away today. Now we'll hear from Ashley and Upset after the break, followed by Mad Lions coach Mac joining us in PGL with Sjokz and Caedrel.